What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be diving into the full red Black Clover list. These are going to be cards that you can add into the starter deck if you don't know, which I did cover in a different video, so feel free to check that out. I'll have that linked in the description. But yeah, appreciate you guys clicking on the videos. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you don't know, I do these breakdowns basically to learn these cards myself if I'm wanting to build the decks or go up against them. I just want to know what's out there in the Union Arena, but also figure while I'm looking at them and make the videos, and hopefully you guys get some information out of them as well. So yeah, without further ado, hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's dive into it. It looks like the first deck that we're going to be building around is essentially the Black Bulls, but that is actually its own affinity, its own thing in purple, even though it is a lot of Black Bulls in here, some Unos as well. But Asta is going to be our main guy. A lot of putting cards from the top of our deck underneath our cards to get extra effects off and stuff like that. It's going to be really cool. And then the other red deck that we're going to be looking into that you can build, it looks like it's going to be a Noelle and Mimosa build. You might be able to mix and match these a little bit for sure, but there is literally a special for Noelle here, Valkyrie armor. So yeah, she's gonna have her own deck, while of course we're gonna have the Demon Slayer sword for the Asta special if you're building that deck. But yeah, the Noelle and the Mimosa deck looks pretty strong. It's gonna be playing a lot off of using event cards multiple times, pulling them from your sideline, using them again, as well as playing them for free as well. So essentially just spamming cards, a new form of rush, incorporating your event cards, and nothing. If you've seen the Esper Sisters deck from One Punch Man, that deck excludes, it sort of does the same thing, a lot of searching and stuff, that deck's great, but it excludes specials from being revived, whereas this deck is going to allow you to bring those specials from your sideline to your hand and reuse them and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. But starting it out, we've got our 5 energy cost, 1 action point Asta. Raid if on the front line. At the start of your turn, place the top card from this raided character into your sideline. If this character has a face down card under it, you instead place 1 face down card under this character into your sideline instead. So essentially, it looks like I think the point of this is to make it so that Asta is no longer a raid card. You're essentially raiding him, pushing him to the front line, setting him to active, and then getting the 1 plate ability off, which is choose 1 character with 4k or less on your opponent's front line, sideline it. But then on top of all that, you have the chance to make him just a normal vanilla 4K, and I don't know, just in some situations, I guess you can target a raid character and unraid them and stuff like that, but at that point, he wouldn't be a raid character. I don't think there's any other effects that really play off of Asta doing this, honestly. It's really interesting. I'm curious. Maybe if I see it in game, it'll make more sense. But yeah, from the sounds of it, you're literally making him, turning him from a raid card to a non-raid card, which again can be beneficial in some situations. And on top of that, in general, he's just a 4K anyways, with his 1 plate ability going away the turn you play him. But yeah, in general, still a good card since you're being able to remove a 4K on play, especially for a red rush deck. This is going to be so strong. We will, of course, have the 0 cost add to hand Asta. This is going to be one that you'll see with pretty much every raid card, so that if it does end up in your life, you can raid on top of it later. We will also have this Lieb 2 energy. Is it how you say it? Lieb? I'm pretty sure. I've not seen this guy yet. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the devil form, I'm assuming, that we saw. I can't wait to actually get more into the anime. Anyways, 2 energy, 1 action point, Lieb. Your Asta cards with raid can raid on top of this card. And then when played, you draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand face down underneath this character. So yeah, so you could do that, and then instead of when you raid on top of Lieb with this character, you instead remove the card that you put under Lieb. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I got to see it in game to fully understand it, I guess. And then he is going to be our red color trigger. If you don't know, for red, you choose a card with 2 2500 or less on your opponent's front line and sideline it if this gets triggered from life. Yeah, not a bad trigger, could help at times, but not the best trigger, unfortunately. But with how good you're rushing with red, hopefully it doesn't matter too much. And then the other cards that we'll have listed before this are just going to be this Julius card, which is going to be our generic active main switch to resting. You can make him a double energy generator, and then you have to sideline the card by your main phase. Could be a good card for red, especially because it's like a rush deck. You're trying to play cards as fast as possible. This is going to be one of your zeros to count for 2. Could be good. And then we've got a 0 cost, 1 action point, Loro Pechica. If you have 4 or more event cards cards in your sideline, this character gains 1500 BP, making her a 3k. Draw trigger, so this will be a card that you probably play in the Noelle and Mimosa deck because you're trying to get as many event cards into your sideline, essentially. At least that's how the special works in that deck as well, that you'll see. And then 3 energy, 1 action point, WabbleTCG. During your turn, if you have 4 or more event cards in your sideline, this character gains 500, so she'll be a 4k. Okay, so this is a character that just gains more BP based off of having more events in your sideline. That's fine, especially with this active trigger. We don't hate that at all. So yeah, basically a 4k. And then 4 energy cost, WabbleTCG, nullify impact. I hope I'm saying that decently right. When played, you may place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. If you do, add 1 red event card with 2 or less energy from your sideline to your hand. With the draw trigger, 4k BP as well. Again, we're trying to cycle event cards as much as possible and hopefully play them for free with the Mimosa and Noelle decks, so that could be good as well. Then we've got Gray, 2 energy, 1 action point. This looks like a card that you could probably put into either deck, probably more the Asta deck, but you're basically just trying to target Black Bulls with this. Active main, switch to resting, place 1 card from your hand to sideline this character, and then you get to play 1 red character with 3 or less required energy, 1 action point, and Black Bull's affinity from your hand set to active onto the field, and they're going to gain 1k until the end of the turn, which is really nice. So you're going to be able to get some pretty solid rushes off with this card, especially just for a 2. This is going to be an annoying card to see, I'm sure. With the draw trigger as well, 2k BP, and you can play them anywhere on the field as well, so you could even use this to get extra energy generation off as well for free, potentially. Even though with that 1k BP buff, you're probably going to want to try to get somebody on the front line, especially with them set to active. But then we've got Gauche here, 3 energy, 1 action point. I believe this is an alternate art from the starter deck. When played, place the top card of your deck face down underneath this character, and then active main, once per turn. You can place 1 face down card from underneath this character into your sideline. If you do, double attack until the end of the turn. Could be good for rush. No trigger, unfortunately, but hitting your opponent with a surprise double attack could be nice, especially if he's just sitting there waiting to do it. And then we've got 0 energy, 1 action point, Knocked. I have not seen this guy before. This is actually making me more excited to keep watching Black Clover. I can't wait to get to, I think I'm literally halfway. I'm out on like episode 70. I think there's like 130 episodes right now, I've heard. Anyways, Knocked, part of the Black Bulls. Never seen him. Nullify impact, no trigger, 2k BP. Well, let's see if you'll run him, because this is not a raid Knocked, so you don't necessarily need him in the deck for this guy. Anyways, this is a 4 energy, 2 action point Knocked. You play this character set to active onto the field, which we love. When played, you draw a card, and when attacking, you get to choose 1 Asta or Lieb card on your field. It gains 1k BP till the end of the turn, and then you can place the top card of your deck face down underneath the chosen character. So this Knocked is basically able to give your Astas extra chances, like the starter deck one, to get more impact and stuff like that. Again, I don't really understand. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure I might seem dumb. I don't know. I don't really understand the whole face down underneath this card's thing, besides making him a non-raid card, essentially. But the starter deck Asta could definitely benefit from this for sure. And then taking a look at Noelle, one of the main cards from of course, the Noelle and Mimosa deck that you're going to be able to build. She's going to be a 5 energy raid, 1 action point. If you've used an event card this turn, this character is going to gain 1k BP and impact until the end of the turn. So every turn, hopefully, she's going to be a 5k impactor. That's what you're trying to do with this deck, I'm sure. And then when played, this character gains all abilities listed below until the end of the turn if you have the required number of event cards in your sideline. So if you have 2 or more in your sideline, this character cannot be blocked by cards with 3k or less BP. And then if you have 4 or more in your sideline, your opponent must block this character if able to. Basically, if they have 1 card on their front line that says this character cannot block, then your opponent doesn't have to block. But otherwise, your opponent has to block. Also, I've heard that with wording like this, what this also means that when you swing with this Noelle, your opponent has to choose right then and there when they're going to block. And then if you have 4 more on your sideline, your opponent must block this character if able. So with these abilities combined, since 3500 is somewhat more of a nicher BP to have, you're essentially trying to force your opponent to block their big cards like their 4Ks with this Noelle. And with impact on this card, oh, it's going to be so nice. So yeah, this looks really strong, especially with how much you're going to be able to play event cards with this deck. As you'll see here, we've got our colored for the Noelle deck, 1 energy, 1 action point. Active main, if on the front line once per turn. You can only activate this ability if you've used an event card this turn. Look at the top card of your deck, place it on the top of your deck or into your sideline. So you can essentially use this card to sort of filter your deck a little bit. 2 energy, 1 action point Noelle, when played, draw a card. No trigger, but again, we want Noelle's to raid on top of, so, and I mean a when played draw, that's really solid, I'm not going to lie, so not bad. And then 0 energy, 1 action point Noelle, when played, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. Draw trigger, 1500. Honestly, I love the 0 cost draw trashes when played. I might even just throw this into my Asta deck if I'm running the red Asta deck. But yeah, you'll definitely want to put this in your Noelle deck, there's no question. And also, I am curious to see if people are going to try combining like Noelle with the red Asta and stuff. Doesn't look like they're too restricted to their own things. But as you'll see with this raid Mimosa here, she definitely plays well with the Noelle. That's definitely what they intended here. So as you'll see, 4 energy Mimosa raid. When played, draw a card, choose one of the following. Reduce the AP of the next event card you play with 2 or less required energy from your hand by 1. So essentially making the next event card you play not require any action points to play, which is so nice. Won't work for the final, but you can get free specials off essentially, which will be pretty strong, free removal. Or you may place 1 event card from your hand into your sideline. If you do, add up to 1 red character with 1 action point from your sideline into your hand. So you can essentially use her as a revive, exchanging an event card for a character card. And there's no restriction on how much the character card costs, which is pretty nice. They just need to be a 1 action point. So yeah, Mimosa, either play a free event card when played, or revive a character in exchange for an event card, with a draw as well. So 4K raid, this looks like a really strong card. And again, I could even see this maybe even working with the Asta deck potentially. Who knows? They're definitely built for their own archetypes, but I could see some mixing and matching working here. The other Mimosa cards that we've got with this deck, we've of course got the add this card to hand 0 cost Mimosa, and then a 1 energy, 1 action point Mimosa, double energy generator. When played, choose a character with 1 or less required energy on your field, return it to your hand. If you can't, return this character to your hand. You'll see this in every color. But for red, could be decent. We've got a lot of double energy generation. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't really run that card at all. 3 energy, 1 action point Mimosa. When played, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 red event card among them. Add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. And then add, if you did take a card, sideline a card from your hand. So yeah, with this being a double energy generator, no trigger unfortunately, but a double energy generator event searcher Mimosa that we can raid on top of. Definitely a nice card. I would definitely take this any day of the week over this card, and then just choose another 1 cost to run in my deck possibly. But yeah, the Noelle and Mimosa deck is going to be kind of insane. Kind of going back to the Black Bulls here though. Hopefully you guys enjoy this sort of new style of breakdown. I figure it's better than just going constantly from left to right. Kind of bouncing between the decks a little bit. Anyways, 1 energy, 1 action point Vanessa. If on the front line, characters on your field other than Vanessa cannot be chosen by abilities on event cards your opponent uses from their hand. So yeah, essentially event cards can only target this Vanessa. And then she does have a draw trigger, 1k BP. Not a bad card. She's a 1, so I don't know. It could be nice to just have a couple of these in the deck, and then boom, she's on the front line, and now your opponent has something to deal with. But then we've got, keep in mind though, 1k BP is really easy to just remove with like normal character abilities in a lot of situations. So don't be surprised if she's not as effective as you think, but could be a card to just have a couple of to surprise your opponent. Anyways, 3 energy, 1 action point Finral. This is an alternate art from the starter deck. Pretty good card though. At the end of your attack phase, you may place 1 face down card under this card into your sideline. If you do, choose one of the following. Choose a character on your field, move it to the other line, or you can choose a character on your front and energy line and swap them. And then when played, you can put a card from the top of your deck underneath this character face down. He's a double energy generator, 3k BP, no trigger. Basically, a when played moving ability could be good, I can see in red, because you're essentially not trying to push cards up because you need the energy to play cards. But with this Finral, you're actually able to use his abilities the turn you play him to still push cards up mid-turn for attack. So I could actually see this card getting a lot of play for sure, or a decent amount, especially just again, the double energy generation with those abilities is just so nice. Then we've got 3 energy Henry, 1 action point. If there's a purple or green card on your opponent's field, reduce the cost of this card by 1. So he'll essentially turn to a 2 1 action point double energy generator. You'll see these in all the sets. Not bad. not bad. I'm sure we've got other options for double energy generation, though, for red from what I'm seeing. Speaking of, we've got Yami here, another starter deck exclusive. 2 energy, 1 action point. If he's set to active, he'll be generating 2 energy. Not a bad card. Again, we've got a few other double energy generating options, especially if you go look at the starter deck. So Yami could be played for sure. Not a bad card. This will never be a bad card, but we might have other options. This Yami looks sick. 5 energy. 1 action point. When played, you may place the 1 face down card under a character on your field into the sideline if you do draw a card. And then when attacking, you can choose 1 character on your field with Black Bull's affinity and place the top card of your deck underneath that card face down. So essentially, every time this Yami attacks, you can give one of those cards, a face down card to reuse their ability, which is so sick. Or use their ability to get a draw off. I love it, man. It's a nice little tie into the Black Bulls. Really cool. Anyways, active trigger, which is really good too if he ends up in your life. He's also a 4K BP, so very, very nice looking red card. I really like that Yami. And then we have a 0 cost Luck. This is a starter deck alt. I actually think the starter deck alternate art looks really cool compared to this. But regardless, Luck, 0 energy, 1 action point, 3K active, 2K BP. I could see this being played for sure in people's decks as a 0, especially just because if this ends up in life with a few other 3K actives in there as well, it could be nice. And then we got 4 energy, 1 action point During your turn, if Asta's on your field, he'll gain 500 BP, making him a 4K. And then when played, you can place 1 card from your hand to the sideline. If you do, switch him to active. So you can essentially play him set to active, which could be good, again, with how we're trying to rush with red. No trigger, but could be nice. Could be nice to have just as an extra rush card. And then moving on to the sites and events, we've got 3 energy, 1 action point Undine? Undine? I have no idea what this is. Play this site set to active. Active main, switch to resting once per turn. You can only activate this ability if WabbleTCG is on your field. Look at the top card of your deck. Place it on the top of your deck or into your sideline. With a get trigger, if it ends up in your life, you get to add it to your hand. With the double energy generation, not bad, not bad. We'll see if it's played. There's so many other cards we're trying to use in our Mimosa and Noel deck, but this could be good just for helping us filter it for sure. Especially the double energy generation. You really can't complain about that. Once you see that, you're like, oh, well, now I'll consider it. This will be our final. My magic is never giving up. And one of my favorite finals. I love that. 3 energy, choose an action point, choose 2 action points, switch them to active. You guys know how finals work by now, I'm sure, if you've played. If you don't know, you get to basically restand an action point is what that means. And then we've got our special for the Noel deck. This is going to be the unique special for red. So it's going to be a 2 energy cost, which is pretty unique, I would say, for just Union Arena in general. 2 energy cost special is crazy, but with how the deck works, it makes sense. You choose 1 character on your field. It gains 2,500, and this character cannot be blocked by characters with 2,500 or less. Again, trying to force your opponent to block with higher BP, higher valuable characters. On top of that, if the chosen character is Noel, it also gains your opponent must block this character if able to until the end of the turn. So it's a form of snipe for sure. And again, with Noel having impact, could be pretty annoying and really strong. Special trigger, and as we've seen with the Noel and the Mimosa deck, we're going to hopefully be able to play this for free and maybe even twice in a turn with 1 card by reviving it from the sideline. I'm really, really interested in how Black Clover is going to affect the meta, because just red already looks crazy, especially with the starter deck. Next, we've got 2 energy costs, Sea Dragon's Lair. Choose 1 character on your front line. It gains your opponent cannot choose this character with abilities on characters, abilities on events, or trigger abilities till the start of your next turn. If Noel's on your field, you can choose an AP card and switch it to active, essentially making this a free play. With a draw trigger too, this is kind of nice. I'll probably try to slip 2 of these into my deck for sure. All right, Old Man Dog was crying. We're all good. Let's see. 2 energy, 1 action point, All-Knowing Priestess. No trigger, but look at the top 2 cards of your deck, reveal 1 card among them, add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the top of your deck. If the card you revealed was Noel, Mimosa, WabbleTCG, or an event card with 2 or less required energy, choose up to 1 of your APs and switch it to active. Not bad, not bad. I mean, it's basically a free search, essentially. The fact that it's a free search with the action point is really nice. Assuming you hit a Noel, Mimosa, or WabbleTCG, or an event card with 2 or less, that's true. I mean, I'm assuming you're like always going to, right? So this could be good. The no trigger is a really big turnoff. If this was just a draw or an add to hand, that'd be crazy. But still a free search. You're looking at the top 2, getting what you want out of it. That could be good. That could be good. I would not advise more than 2 of a card like this, but I could see it being all right. And an anticlimactic finish, but the last card, 4 energy cost, Demon Slayer Sword. It's an alt art from the starter deck, and it's just our generic special, which isn't bad, but nothing crazy. Choose 1 character with 3k or less on your opponent's front line, sideline it, but if you have Asta on the field, you can target 5k instead. Yeah, so not bad at all. But with that, that is every single red Black Clover card. If you guys didn't see, I have the red starter deck broken down in a different video. I'll have it linked in the description, of course, if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this was informative. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the red Black Clover decks. I think they're gonna look really, really strong, especially the red starter deck. I'm really impressed by what they did with the Asta and the Yuno here. Again, go check out the video or dive into the starter deck yourself. Totally your call. Either way, even if not that deck, the Noel and the Mimosa deck looks like it's going to be really, really strong as well. If you're hitting all the right cards, if you've got the specials in your sideline quick enough, and you're constantly getting this impact off with Noel, forcing your opponent to block and stuff. Oh man, reviving her with this Mimosa raid if you wanted to. I'm very excited for red Black Clover, to say the least, for sure. It looks very strong. And again, I'm so somebody tell me more value out of this if on the frontline ability. It's so interesting to me, but I do see the value in making him a non-raid card, which is essentially what this is saying, right? Either way, when played, 4K removal is nice. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate y'all. We'll be doing a different video for, of course, the green breakdown and the purple breakdown if you guys are curious. But yeah, thanks for watching. Drop a like to let me know you guys enjoyed, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.